What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of A Thinking Man's Podcast. If you guys are listening on YouTube, please subscribe to the Muscle Media Network channel. Leave us a comment on the video, like the video, send it to a friend, ring the bell so that you get the notifications. We're coming at you guys multiple times a week, every single week, so you don't miss it. As always, this episode is brought to you by Kodiak Bodybuilding Apparel. Train hard, die strong. Thanks to Chris for supporting the channel. I love that phrase as well. I'm going to say that every time. So today we're going to kind of bounce around some different stuff. I think we're going to touch on Texas because it turned out to be an awesome show like we expected. And then I think we are going to critique a couple physiques. For anybody listening that is not already in the Facebook group, the Muscle Media Network has a private Facebook group where you guys are going to get first dibs at any new content or any new segments and the chance to interact with the show. And Tommy and I put up a prompt asking for physique photos, progress photos, and we're going to be reviewing them here on the show as part of a new segment. So if you're not already, go ahead and join the group, submit some photos if you want Tommy and I to give you our feedback. And so Tommy Styles, my good friend, Texas Pro, what do you think?
I think we nailed it.
We did nail it. Yeah. I think this was like the first time too we came to a consensus top five, like we both agreed.
Yeah.
And then just by chance we happened to hit it because it's fun to take a victory lap, but we've been way the fuck off a lot. So kind of nice to nail it.
I think I remember saying I think Andrew's just gonna drop bombs, and that he did. I didn't see the scorecard. To me, it was from pictures and online, it was a no-brainer.
Yep.
That dude is a specimen.
He gets better every time we see him.
He needs some density in some of his shots.
Like which shots? Which shots?
So his back shots, his back needs overall density, I think. The front lat spread, he could use more chest.
Yeah.
He just has such a pretty porcelain-like physique with his abs and the quads, especially in the front shots. But I think in the Olympia against certain guys, you'll see his weak points more when it comes to density. He does have a big frame. I mean,
Man, you think he needs more chest in the front lat spread? I think his chest is one of his best body parts. His chest is insane, dude.
It's got some crazy details, but don't you think next to remember he was at the Arnold and he did get outsized by Samson and Nick.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, let me since we're going to be doing this anyway, let me see if I can pull this up.
Yeah, we did get some feedback about sharing what we look at.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
All right. Man, I look at that and it looks like he's got two inflated balloons on his fucking sternum for his chest.
Oh, it's improved since the Arnold for sure.
I was impressed. I thought everything was improved from the Arnold, man.
No doubt. I just think,
man, that is insane.
If the Olympia is a big boy show, I think he needs more.
Oh, for sure. And it's weird, but I think we've even talked about this as taller guys. I think building up some of these forearms and calves, I think it would make a big difference in the way that it flows. I think from a thickness standpoint, it would look like he was more complete if his forearms and his calves were better. I mean, we all need better calves, but just being tall and having longer limbs, it kind of stands out. Like this all looks great. And then I think there just needs to be more in here. How about these abs, huh?
Love it. Love a nice blocky, deep abs with separation. That's why your eyes instantly go to him in the lineup because of that, I think.
Yeah. Man, these downshifting pec striations in the lower pec, this is like Ronnie-esque.
Yeah, and there was a side tricep that he hit where it was kind of folded over each other. And it just
turns.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Probably the one here. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was like a pack on a pack.
Now, let me ask you, did you watch the Tyler Mannion recap video?
I did. They said this pose is not, they don't want it. They want a side try from the side, which I like.
I like that too, but then they award him the show.
Oh, strange. He didn't win on one shot. I think.
No, I know, but you would think the winner would be presenting the standard that they're talking about. I guess that's probably them just putting everybody on notice for the Olympia.
I took it from Tyler as if like, hey, you can hit that, but if you don't hit the side, like we're going to mark you down because we're only judging the side.
I thought this shot was much improved. I thought his side shots in general were much improved, but this in his prior showings has stood out to me as a weakness just in terms of how uncomfortable he looked getting into it.
Yeah.
And I think it's much improved. I mean, this is just wacky. Like if we muted all this out and it was just a silhouette, like this looks photoshopped.
Yeah. No, that rear delt is
It's got its own area code, dude.
literally jumping off the bone.
Yeah, super impressive. And what did you, so the big knock on him, honestly, or obviously has been his back shots. What did you think?
Just
if I could get a better one.
Needs to be harder.
Yeah.
More separation. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement conditioning wise here. So that
Dude,
back is, again, there's just not a lot of separation. I think
Yeah.
he definitely can probably pull, 8 more pounds off this physique and be a lot harder and tighter.
See, I almost look at this and I see this here, and on a guy that's so big, and obviously just looking at one still photo, we're not there in person. I had some conversations with different guys like during the show and after the show. And yes, like as a general statement, yes, he needs to be sharper from behind. But I'm wondering if it's a combination of just like a lack of muscle density and maybe even a little film of water, more so than there being body fat on him. Like there's nothing left here. There's nothing left here. There's not skin folds. There's nothing left.
Yeah. You could even see faint glute cross striations there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's water.
I'm with you. I was saying the same thing in a couple DM conversations.
Even the way the skin look, like the skin does look like it's just has a layer underneath of it.
That's what I'm saying. I've had people, and it's tough as a bodybuilding fan that's not there. You're just looking at photos, and we use all these terms interchangeably: tighter, harder, leaner, drier, all these different things.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think it was a body fat issue. Because I don't think some of these other body parts would look the way that they do if it was a body fat issue as well. I think he's just one of these guys front to back. There's a lack of development in the back compared to the front. And then so if there's a little bit of water or anything, it's going to show back here more so than from the front.
Right. I mean, as it stands right now, I personally don't have him beating Nick.
No, I don't think so either. Nick's too polished as a professional at this point.
At first, when I saw Andrew on Saturday, I was kind of like, damn, this dude could really sneak into the top 3. And then I started thinking like, well, we got Samson, we got Nick, we got Hottie, we got Derek. You can never rule out like a Brandon Curry.
I wouldn't rule out Rami either, man.
Yeah,
he's not. I'm not betting on him to win, but man, like let's not talk like this guy's just washed or completely done. Like if there's any improve, like he's doing stem cells and all this different stuff, he's got every possible resource available to him. If there's any improvement in the lower lats or the triceps, he's going to still be right in the mix. So that's Andrew, and I'm with you. I thought that he kind of. Tyler and a lot of people online, like Hunter has a lot of fans and rightfully so. And he's awesome. He just won Tampa. He's obviously much improved from last year in several regards. But I'm looking at this and I just didn't think it was close, to be honest. Despite that though, what did you think of Hunter?
I mean, it's his best condition. So I think it was really smart for him to do another show. And I think, what are we, like 12 weeks out of the Olympia?
12 weeks. Yep.
I think it only sets him up to bring his next best to the Olympia. So
yeah,
I don't, there was no losing for him by doing this show.
Totally agree.
You know,
Yeah,
you're
and he
in your home
probably
state, you get some second place prize money, you get to stand next to a guy who you're probably going to stand next to in 12 weeks.
yeah.
You know, that's very much is a win to compete more. So
Yeah, I think these front shots, the photos that they got of him look good. I saw some videos and I don't want to just shit on him. We've complimented him. I think this is probably his best. I think he might have even been a little bit better than Tampa, where he won the show.
yeah, I thought it
But
was
there's
harder.
something, and I'll try to find it, but there's something going on with his lower abdomen. And when you stand next to a guy that probably has the best abs in open bodybuilding and Andrew, it was just a bad head-to-head matchup. I don't know the way that it looks, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find photos of it because you see it even more like when he transitions into shots, but it's not like a lack of development in his abs or anything like that. I'm almost wondering if there's something going on with his gut and it's manifesting itself in like a weird looking lower abdomen. Did you see what I was talking about? I don't know that I'm going to be able to find a photo of it.
I mean, I know what you're getting at. Yeah, it's kind of like I mean, when we talk gut health and different stuff like that, I mean, I've learned a lot from Jason Theopold and Chris Tuttle about stuff like that. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
say Hunter's got something bigger going on, but the amount of people I work with who have like underlying issues that need to be resolved with, and obviously the stresses of competition and the things we're doing leading into a show. I mean, I've had 2021, I couldn't pull my stomach flat for 10
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. And
So
honestly, if I'm
I
being
don't know what he peaked on. I don't know. There is a
sure.
lot of stomach virus stuff going around the nation
Mm.
right now. I had a peak week issue. It actually benefited me, but maybe his was the opposite.
If I'm being fair too, all the photos on on the NPC website, at least he did a good job of holding it. I just saw some videos online where it looked a little funny.
I
This
saw it
shot
looked
is,
like between transitions, he tries to cross his arms every time over his stomach
yeah,
because I do think there is like he has to like let it go to pull back in.
this shot is out of control.
Yeah, there's those striations in the quad.
I mean, that side leg is as good as it gets in bodybuilding.
Yeah. Yeah, that quad is he has quad on top of quad there.
Yeah. But it's a perfectly developed leg too. There's not the hamstring sweep matches it, the separation between the quad and the hamstring, the glutes are in proportion to the rest of the leg. It looks like a pumpkin hanging off of the back of him. The striations are there. This is just a still photo. In the videos, you could see it anytime he stepped. The tricep has good sweep to it. If anything, I think maybe he probably needs a little more rear delt to kind of match that. But good serratus, or yeah, good like obliques, serratus here. Arms are awesome. I was impressed. I think it was a clear distinction between Andrew being the better bodybuilder, but I will give credit where it's due. I think this was his best. Let me see if I can pull up some of the back shots because, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this because in one of the videos, see, like this is a great shot, man. The side tricep is really nice. Um, Tyler Mannion commented that he thought that Hunter brought up his back from it being a weak point to now a strength. This looks great. I would agree that with you that this was definitely his best conditioning from behind. But if we're going to critique it, if I'm being honest, there's still more to go. Like you see these multiple skin folds down here. Not much going on in this left glute. I think there is probably another level that they can get to in the next 12 weeks, but from the waist up, this is much improved from what we saw last year.
Yeah, I mean that's a good back double. There's separation.
Yep. The lower back is crisp.
Yeah.
I think for what he has right now, this looks to be about as good of a peak for the physique that he has as they could be. Like this is the best we've seen him. And
Right there.
then
That's a good shot.
now, what do you think about his prospects? Because Tyler had mentioned that he expects Hunter to be in the mix for the top 5. Do you agree with that?
Um, I mean, if he comes in much harder, it's not out of the question, but I can't visualize it right now.
I can't either. All right, so Carlos in third. I got some conflicting. I had some conflicting conversations with different guys during and after the show. There were some people that were super impressed with Carlos, and then I had some people that were outright disappointed. And I guess that really just boils down to what you expected from him. For me personally, he landed placing wise right where we expected. And then, man, I don't know how you could be anything but impressed. I mean, would you want to see him harder from behind? Yes, but it's his pro debut. I mean, he just stood there with two top Olympians, two guys that Tyler Mannion said that he expects to battle for the top five. And he didn't look out of place. He's a shorter guy, but in terms of muscularity and looking like a big open bodybuilder that deserves to be up there, he looked every bit of it.
Yeah, his most muscular is bonkers too when he
I mean,
hits
this
it.
is a wild shot too. I think he probably, he definitely needed to be tighter. I think both in terms of body fat, and he just looks a little filmy, watery. But I think compared to the other guys too, and if we're comparing him like to Andrew Jack, for example, he needed more oil. Like he looks too dry. Like he
Right.
doesn't have that pop. But this is just insanity.
Yeah, I mean, he just when he hits poses, everything just comes to life. And that maturity will come. I don't think he's in his 20s.
Holy fuck.
That's what yeah. When I saw that on the video online, everything just lit up too when he hit it.
Some guys are just different, dude. This guy's one of them.
Yeah, he's definitely gifted. And I mean, to get third place in a lineup like this, like unanimous, it wasn't, there was no, the top three were all placed where they were prejudging and finals. So I only see upside for this. I mean, you're only going to get better and harder. He needs a back. His back double is very weak, but he's young. He's got time. He's got good people in his corner. So
I'm
there's
borderline
so
speechless
many
by
strengths
this.
there.
This is fucking insane. Man. I mean, he needs to be harder. You can see there's little to no detail in the side leg. Um, and I almost wonder, like, it sounds insane because he's got all the muscle in the world. So it's not necessarily a development issue, but I think the muscle is just not as mature from the lower half as it is up top. Like you see these arms look crazy, this pec is striated, and then this almost looks like an off-season side leg. The size and the sweep of it is out of control, but I think he just needs probably more time under the bar. Let me see if I can pull up that back double and then we'll move on. Yeah.
It's a
So
big,
fewer,
he's got the framework. It just needs to
yeah.
be harder and a lot of detail.
And I think too, this is not a case of not having the insertions. Like you could see this lat inserts way down here. And it's like nice and even. The lower back looks nice. He just needs more time building it up.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, like we've talked about, for a lot of guys, it just looks like he could do a lot of good for himself in this shot by just pulling from the floor.
You know my feelings on that. Hinge, buddy.
Yeah.
Bend over with heavy weight.
I think too, like he would develop these glutes more, and they would look harder at even a little bit of a higher level of body fat. I don't know necessarily too, looking at this, there's a lot that needs to improve here, but I also am wondering if this was a peak that they were satisfied with, because this looks filmy as hell to me. Like all of this looks very watery.
Yeah.
And then Lewis Breed, fourth.
Lewis fourth, Jordan fifth.
What did you think of Lewis? Let's check this shit out.
Looked like he could have done better with his tan, but
Yes.
he was darker in Tampa.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a weak shot for him, I think.
yeah,
He's all upper back.
yeah.
This almost reminds me of Hunter 3 years ago. Like no lower lats, no terries, and it's just all upper back.
I think a lot of that is that dude. His tissue's so bound up in the teres and the shoulders, and like he needs just a lot of body work too.
Yeah. I guess the photographer was not enjoying Lewis's physique quite as much as everybody else's. And then Jordan, man, I was impressed with Jordan. 5th place.
Yeah, no, it was a strong showing. I I didn't really see anywhere he could have been better, for a pro debut. He just
Right.
obviously he's got a bigger frame. I think he's 5'9", 5'10". So I assume he's shutting it down this year and we'll just go back into off season and hopefully put on another, 8 to 10 and come back next year.
Everything about this guy's physique screams successful open pro bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's got a real tight waist. Um,
I mean, he's got good structure. He's got good shape. He has the lines when he gets into good conditioning. And him and Chris Tuttle have a good thing going, which I think is a big
yeah,
piece of it as well. We see guys struggle to swing and miss with the peaks. They're switching coaches in and out. I think that brings a lot of confidence when you work with a coach as a team that you know that you're going to come in and be as good as you could be. This always irks me though, man. If I had one thing to say, and it's the most easily fixed thing, pull your fucking trunks up. These trunks should be up here,
yeah.
up on the sides, so that
I
it
actually
doesn't
had
look
that
like you're
issue at
wearing a
World Series, I think.
dumpy diaper. Um, and then you know what? I actually didn't see any photos or any videos or anything. Yeah, this is a good shot, man. He's got all the tools to be a really good open pro. I didn't. This is going to be my first time seeing anything of Jonathan Withers. So he was sixth out of 10. What do you think?
I mean, those quads, man, they steal the show. Um,
Yeah,
he's got room to grow. I mean,
he
he just
does.
needs density on the upper body.
He's got to get rid of the gyno too.
Yeah, that's a surgery that probably needs to happen.
Man, I don't know if this is just a bad tan or if it looks like maybe he might have torn something. You see that discoloration there?
Yeah,
Maybe it's just the tan.
looks like it's on both sides though. So I think it's
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe it could just be a shadow. Who the fuck knows?
these pictures aren't the greatest.
They're not great, man, which is a bummer. Like we talked about, Texas has kind of set the standard for the lighting. And it wasn't
What show NPC News Online? I thought I saw some much better quality photos and videos from people that were there.
yeah.
I don't know
I know Gilco Productions does like probably the best job. They take those
what
videos
this
that look
photographer was doing, but
yeah. Yeah, I mean these are
yeah,
the freebies that go up online. You can't expect the best.
yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. Just
I think too, if I was going to critique the
could be
peak
harder,
itself
could be
too,
bigger.
I was going to say if I could critique the peak, I think that they probably just tried to get him blasting full, and it came at the cost of some separation. Because even his legs are the most developed thing on him, and even so, they're not like insanely separated in a lot of these shots. Um, Now, what's the big knock on him? I think his back needs probably the most.
Probably back, and I mean, he's got some pretty good arms, but
He does have good arms
his upper body is a little disproportionate to the lower.
for sure, both from the front and the back. I see this as the most glaring weakness, though. He
Yeah,
really needs to develop some lats and some terries. Upper back is good. Like these traps are good.
yeah.
All right. So that was Texas. And then how are you feeling now heading into the Olympia about some of these guys? What do we got? Do we have another qualifier left? Because I know that they have the Legion, but I always remember that being like the start of the following season in terms of qualifications. I could be wrong.
I think we have Italy and
Italy. Yeah.
the Legion.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure, but I feel it's tough to say. I mean, Andrew definitely improved massively since the Olympia or the Arnold.
Yeah.
He's still very beatable by some of the bigger guys. I mean, the Olympia is a big man show. We've said that numerous times. So he is a big man, but next to other big men, you start to see where he actually has weak points density wise. Samson is going to be huge. Nick will be huge and polished condition wise. Hottie will be sharp. He never misses. Could see a resurgent Rami. Brandon Curry is always right there.
We didn't even talk about Derek Lunsford either.
Yeah, Derek is. I probably have Derek as my early on hands-on favorite to win.
Really? Okay.
I just think, he was still on the fence about 212 or open last year. And this year it was like, I'm doing open. So
We're going to see it unleashed. Yeah.
Out of the gate. I think there's going to be, just with that structure and the amount of size he carries. I mean, it was close last year.
It was. And I still don't even think it was his best.
No, he's still got some muscle maturity that, like, Hottie's been around. Hottie's just hard as nails everywhere, super separated. So
and the same way that I had mentioned that with Hunter's midsection, Andrew Jack was a bad one-on-one head-to-head matchup for him. I feel the same way about Hottie and Derek. Like everything that Derek is missing or needs to improve, Hottie has it tenfold. Like chest and quad density and separation, Hottie's got some of the best in the game. Like Hottie's chest and like that front shot, most muscular. He's every fiber of his pecs are rippled. The quads are insane looking, and those are the two big knocks on Derek from the front. Is the chest and the quads. I don't think there's anybody in bodybuilding that's better than Derek from behind. The back double, at least.
Well, and they both work with Hani, and who I think is one of the best at peaking.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you what muscle maturity can do for a peak when you have, an extra decade of training and heavy weights.
Yeah.
Hotties, there is literally not a morsel of water beneath his skin and muscle. It's picture perfect.
Yeah.
The quads just disgustingly separated and hard.
And like you said, it's not only the time, but I think too there's something to the way that Hottie trains. Yes, it's a limited range of motion. Nobody from RP Strength is gonna pat him on the back for how he trains. But he trains like a fucking psycho, dude. He bangs in the gym, like you like to say.
I love it.
Yeah. It seems like his big theory on training is just load it up with as much as he can possibly unrack it with and see what he can do with it. Which is awesome. It's awesome to watch. Just as a comment, I want to make my stance known now. I'm fully expecting Samson to win the Olympia.
Okay. August 22nd, putting it out there.
Yeah. I just think he's just had this storm brewing, and it just built, the momentum just rose. And with every little video, every time he comes out and it's as good as it looked on Instagram, and he wins the Arnold, all this different stuff. Man, I just think there's so much to like. We'll see.
I mean,
it's a big man show. Let's say if the top three is him, Derek, and Hottie, he's way more imposing than the other two guys. Or if the top four is Samson, Hottie, Derek, and Nick, he towers over these guys.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I do expect Nick to be much bigger than he was at the Arnold.
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about, I've heard him like just candidly talk about how he decided to do that Arnold and what his process was leading up to it. Like that was not his best process. Like they decided he had like ate his face off after the Olympia and then decided at like 10 weeks out then that he wanted to pull it back down and do the Arnold. And
A lot
I
of them
think
did because the prize money went up.
that was exactly it. And I think that they had to run him into the ground a little bit to get him in shape. Um, so knowing that they're shooting for the Olympia the whole year, I would expect his legs to be better, not having to run him into the ground with the cardio. Uh, I just don't know. I just don't see a path where if Samson and Derek are going to be, Hottie's a little bit up there in age. Who knows? I have no idea how old Hottie actually is, how many years he actually has left. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that Samson and Derek are going to be staples for the next 5 years. I really just don't see a path for Nick winning the Olympia. I just don't. Unless both guys mentioned and everyone else is just a little bit off and he nails it, then fine. But if everybody's at their best, I don't think structurally Nick can hang with those two guys. And like that's not a knock.
Yeah.
Nick is one of the 5 best bodybuilders in the world. But if we're talking about the difference between first and second or first and third, that's 1% difference between these guys. I just don't think he can make it back up.
Yeah, it's tough when you have such pretty physiques to stand next to.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough. That's a good pro bodybuilding talk. So, like we mentioned, guys, we're pulling physique progress photos and we're going to do physique critiques from the Facebook group. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to share that now. And let's take a look at some of these guys. Thank you to the 2 gentlemen that did submit. Take some balls putting some photos up. So we got Nick Raffini here. Nick says that he is 6'1", 233 pounds. Man, first and foremost, we are getting blinded by the light on this dude's white skin. Nick, you got to roll the lighting back a little bit, buddy. Either that or you got to start tanning or something. But there's literally this is like transparent. Now so you told me off air, this is one of your clients?
Yeah, I work with Nick. We've been working together since the start of the year.
Where is he, for context, where is he at season wise? Is this an off season look?
Yeah. He competed once years and
Okay.
years ago, so he doesn't have a whole ton of experience competing.
Okay.
He actually has Crohn's, so
Oh,
we worked through that pretty well. But outside of that, big frame.
big guy.
We're actually nearing the end of a push phase this week, actually. So he's been pushing all year.
Okay.
Started, I think we were around 210 when we started up.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, I think he's I had to ask because he's lean. He's still quite lean. Good lines in the front, good midsection control. You even see some of these like serratus lines here, which is cool. In terms of critiques or just like giving feedback on this physique, and we'll go like shot by shot, but here he's got the shape, he's got bodybuilding shape, and with how tall he is, he's got the structure for it. He's got a good rib cage, he's got a small set of hips on him, good quads. I think maybe his quads are his best body part in this shot.
Yeah.
I think in general he just needs to be bigger. I mean, we're probably going to say that throughout the different photos that we pull up. So if I had to get specific, I think at least in this shot with his arms down, I feel like the arms stand out to me the most.
I mean, knowing that the quarter turns and the front double and the back double are what the judges look at the most to decide the call outs, this shot needs to have so much more density everywhere above the waist. His quads are his best in this. Adductors aren't bad either.
Yeah.
But we need delts, chest, arm thickness, forearms.
Yeah.
He's got good structure. I think that
Yeah.
will continue to improve. But
And the thing is,
um,
when you have the shape like that, like when you have like shape and structure like this, especially in a front relaxed, every little bit that he adds makes a pretty significant difference.
yeah,
Like when you have shape and structure like this, you can kind of, that's, I'm not saying this so that he thinks this way, but you can kind of get away with being whatever you think the standard body weight might have to be for it. Like I see 6'1" and he's got to be open bodybuilding. I mean, at some point in the offseason, he's going to have to be carrying 280 pounds.
I was to say 275 to 280 is probably
Yeah.
where you're going to have to hang. I mean, I see myself as having to be 265 to 270 and holding it for a while before a prep. So,
Yeah. Same here.
and I'm 2 inches shorter than him.
Yep. Same here. So for my money, I would say that the two big ones, at least in this shot, would be arms and then I think the chest. The delts
Yeah.
have the shape, but like you said, overall density. But if we're trying to give like some pointed feedback, I think arms and chest here, which everybody likes to train. Rear relax here. I still see the arms like as like a glaring like you'd like to see more sweep here.
Yep.
It looks like he's got in this shot, like the delts pop out to me. And then the legs too, the glutes are in proportion with the rest of the legs. So from the lower body down, I think whatever he's probably doing just needs to continue and it's good. What do you think when you see this shot, like being that you see him all the time?
Back thickness. He's got a really wide,
He does.
back, lat to lat. Terry's open out well.
Yeah.
Just needs
Shoulder to
thickness.
shoulder. Yeah.
Obviously, triceps, like you mentioned. Long, tall, lanky white boy. We all need arms.
Yeah. Need to just start pounding him with growth hormone, to be honest. Side quarter turn. Man, yeah, from adding 20 plus pounds in a push phase, he's in a great spot in terms of like composition. So you get him, you put him through a cruise or whatever you guys are going to do, get him healthy. And then I think he should be in an awesome spot to take off again. Posing wise, I don't even really feel like we should critique posing. I mean, he's posing at the end of a push. All of us know what that's like.
Miserable, dude. Even right now, like when I
Miserable.
have to check in with Dom, I'm like,
Fuck. Yeah, me too, dude. It's like that might as well count as one of my cardio sessions. Yeah, I think just across this like upper shelf here, he needs a little bit more in these quarter turns. Again,
yeah,
the legs are good. I like this shot. I like the shape in this shot. I
yeah,
think just Nick, if you're listening, I think you could shove your hands higher up here and kind of close the distance here. But like we said, tall white guy, you're just going to need more pop and more roundness, more forearms. I think would go a long way. Man, I've mentioned the arms a couple times, but in this shot, I like how his arms look. I think his arms are a strength in this shot.
yeah. So that's the thing with you don't you can kind of hide if you have weak arm density in the front double.
Yeah, like the front delt, the like this top shelf across the bicep, the front delt, all this is good. All this is in proportion. I think this kind of jumps out to me. Like this looks a little shallow.
That'll his chest will be the first thing to go in a dieting phase too. So
Yes.
because that's what happens to mine too, and you get that flat, just no pop to your chest. So that's why there's the big focus on when you have long arms. I mean, chest is a bitch to build.
Yeah. And it gets like even if it looks okay with your arms down or in a side chest, we lift our arms up and it's like just
Oh
goes
yeah,
just goes
and
missing.
when you're in the off season, arms down, you're like, damn, my chest is all right.
Yeah. You pull that first 10 pounds of fat and water off,
Yeah,
and you're like, nope, maybe not. Needed to do more chest work in the off season. I like this shot for him though. I think this is going to be an awesome shot for him the more he fills it out. Because like I said too, he's got that good rib cage for it. And then you can see too, he can pull like a good little vacuum. And then the legs the legs are the foundation of it all. So I think this is going to be a really good shot for him.
Long term, he'll be a super. He'll probably compete
Yeah,
as a next year, but
yeah. Um, and that's it, man. We've talked about like the arm and the shoulder density. I think in this shot, this lead delt and arm look good. Again, the legs look good. I've only seen so far really the quads, but seeing that the hamstrings match, um, we saw the glutes in the rear shot. So I think the leg, top to bottom, front to back, side to side, legs are good. Keep doing whatever you're doing there. I think he's really not doing himself any favors in this shot too. He's kind of posing small for how tall and big he
yep.
is.
Yeah,
I think he's one of those guys. You and I are the same. I think he, instead of like the crunched, like bent over side chest, I think he almost needs to like visualize a vacuum and like lift his chest, almost like an Arnold type side chest.
yeah. I mean, I would. There's probably room in the middle between Arnold and like what he's doing right here, but he needs to twist and
Sure.
open up more to show more width too, because
Right, right.
the
Side to
side
side.
chest,
Yeah.
they look at width and he's completely closed off his back half.
Yeah. And then I think too, um, front delt, side delt all look good. Like every one of us, I think he could probably use a little more rear delts too. But I think this has potential to be a good shot for him too, with a couple tweaks and then just a little bit more muscle. Man, I like this shot for him. I think the arms look really good here. Arms look really good here. A little bit more of a pumpkin look to the delts. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a posing thing in that side chest. Um, he's got to rotate way more though. That was one interesting takeaway from Tyler Mannion doing that Texas recap, was that they're really looking for like the tapers to where this back shoulder should be way out here and turned so that you're
Yeah.
showing like a V from the front. So he's not doing himself any favors. He's not really showing us anything back here. But I think this lead arm and shoulder look really good. Back lat spread. Big
This will
one, I
be a
think,
good
too.
shot. It's a
Yeah, I think
big frame. It's going to be a big wide back. Just needs density.
he's got great insertions too. This shot is going to be maybe his best when it's all filled out and ready to go. I mean,
Yeah.
these lats insert off of his hip.
Mm-hmm.
Lower back is developed. The traps have good width and shape to them. Um, Again, I hate to harp on it. I mean, we're kind of giving the same feedback over and over, but some tricep sweep here totally changes this whole shot. And the glutes are in proportion. Adductors, like you said, he's able to kind of stand these legs out and they still touch, no thigh gap. Um, he's at the end of a push phase. So I always feel like hamstrings, at least square from behind, hamstrings are more of like a detail body part than a side. Like you don't see enormous wide hamstrings in back shots. Could he use more? Sure, but I think his legs from behind look good. And this might honestly, when it's all said and done, this might be his best shot. This is pretty good too. Again, insertions are way, way low down here. This is like he's got all the tools to have excellent back shots. His arms look good here. The delts are well developed in this shot. This is pretty good too. Good set of abs on him.
Yeah.
Good set
Abs.
of abs, good traps. I think just more arms. More arms is the big one. I think more delt too, just because he is so wide. He's so wide up top that there just needs to be more.
I mean, this shot in a lineup, just because I've seen it in myself, like I look pretty good by myself when I'm most muscular, but you just have to have muscle on muscle when you're in a lineup, though, and you're tall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the takeaway here is just, I mean, he's made great progress this push phase, and he knows that because I check his, send him
Yeah.
updates every week. But this
He's
is
just got to do it again.
This is just a check. Yeah, this is just the checkpoint for many more push phases.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall solid, man. Nick, thanks for the submission, man. We appreciate you putting yourself out there for us.
Guinea
Yeah,
pig.
I think a lot of stuff to be excited about, both for both of you guys as a coach and for him, obviously, about his own physique. I think there's a lot to work with. And it just overall, I think it just needs to be a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker. And then our buddy, Matt Chrisman, friend of the show. Why not? Let's critique my Asian ass. Those are his words, not mine. 5'6", 190. He's a bodybuilder himself.
Yep.
And Matt looks good here, man.
Matt just recently competed at I believe the Florida State.
Yep. And did he compete as a middleweight?
He was a middle, yeah.
Okay.
He recently joined the Cardone ranks. He's working with Mr. Dominic Cardone now.
So he's in good hands. That's why this rebound looks as good as it does then.
Yeah. So I've known Matt a long time. He's got some very strong lower half.
Yeah.
Those Asian quads.
Yeah, I think the arms look good here too.
Yeah.
I think if I was
5'6", he needs to be a nasty little light heavyweight. So if he can sit into I would say the low 230s and not be a fat ass that'll have him as a carved out little light heavyweight.
Man, seeing him with all these lines still and knowing that he's 190, he might be able to do that in a year with Dom and hit the national circuit the following year.
Easy.
I think the arms look good here. The triceps have good sweep. I think his front delts match the upper shelf with the biceps. What do you think? I think he's got pretty decent lats here. I think maybe his chest in this shot at least is the big one that I see.
Chest, and then I'd like to see more Terrys from the front. So just width.
Yeah.
Get that serratus to pop out more.
Yeah. This is a good shot too. He's got good shape.
Delts, arms could be thicker.
Yeah. I actually think here with his arms down, his chest actually looks pretty thick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little more lat. I mean, everybody could use a little bit more lat, right? Quads are really good. Side chest here, I think the leg in general is awesome. Maybe a little more hamstring if I'm nitpicking, or maybe it's just a posing thing. Maybe a little bit more drop to the hamstring because the quads are so good and the glutes are good.
Zoom back. I want to see what his lead foot's doing, and that it looks like it. So if you push that heel towards your back leg, you can get that ham to drop more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's spiking it how you want to, though. I honestly think he might be able to get a little more drop from the hamstring just sitting a little more.
Yeah, more knee flexion.
Yeah. He poses it well, though. Again, here the chest actually does look pretty thick in this shot. I think this lead arm probably needs a little more bicep. I think the tricep sweep's really good. A little more bicep and then maybe a little bit more rear delt. Like this tricep sweeps way more than the rear delt does. Man, this is a power shot for him. This tricep is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, really good, Matt. Again, we're same with
Matt,
Nick as the last guy.
I'd like to see his side chest on this side too.
Very good point. Yeah.
The way his legs look here look better than the other side.
Agreed. He looks more comfortable in it too.
Yeah.
He just needs to rotate this upper body, this back shoulder more to us.
Right.
But this is wacky looking, dude. This
will be a real complete shot with some extra, with another 15 pounds of tissue.
Man, he's knowing what he's added from competing as a middleweight up to 190, and he's still got room to go. I mean, he's still got good glute lines, still good separation between the quad and the hamstring. this is going to be, I almost think from what we've seen so far, this might be his best shot when he nails it all. Back double. What do you think here, Tommy?
This is probably where he's going to need to put the most work in the off season, just back thickness.
Like from head to toe, it all needs to be thicker.
Neck to ass crack, just bend over with heavy weight, chest supported rows from that upper back.
That's it. I think a pretty strict, almost Justin Shire-esque RDL, where you dead stop it and your hips stay high. I think that would do this physique very well.
The hams are pretty strong. He's got decent boots. He has adductors. He's just posing them away in this shot, but he can improve that. This shot will improve tenfold just with more density and obviously posing critique or cues. But
I honestly think the lower back here itself actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Like good separation from the lats themselves. This is good. I think it could be a posing thing too, but I think this does his back a lot better justice than the back double does.
Yeah.
He does a good job posing this too. There's no space. The triceps have good sweep here. Man, he's still hard. Still got glute lines, still got his triceps are striated. Lower back looks tight. Lat tie-ins are still apparent. This is a good shot for him, and it's only going to get better. Like we said, if he improves his back to where his back double looks much improved, this is going to be a really good shot for him. Muscular.
Good quads.
Good quads. I think his delts actually look pretty good for this shot. How do you feel in general about the hands on hip most muscular?
I think you got to be pretty big to do it.
I feel like you need to be enormous. I feel like you need to be enormous, and you need to have enormous delts to do it.
Yeah,
like there's not a lot of guys that I think of that have.
I've got big delts, but I don't have the biggest chest, so
right. So then it almost spreads it out.
Anything where you're spreading the chest out and almost showing that it's weak is like not the best posing choice.
Yeah. There's only a handful of guys that I can think of that really look good doing it. Josh Lenardowitz comes to mind for me.
Yeah, Josh, that was his shot. It was like a signature shot.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen a hands clasp here, like with his two fists, like right at this belly button. Because I think it probably thickens up the look. You know what I mean? He's not as widespread then.
He could spread those feet out another 6 inches too and give himself some more, take up some more room. But a hands clasp as a full stock light heavyweight, that'll be nasty.
Yeah. And that's everything. Yeah, good stuff, Matt. Thanks for sharing that, buddy. That's he sent me some photos because I think he was considering doing North Americans as well. And he sent me some photos, and I was like, damn, dude, I did not know that you looked like this. Like we talked to him, and I was like, damn, I didn't know that you looked like this. So he's got all of the tools and all of the insertions, all of it to be like a complete thick light heavyweight. And when he gets there, he's going to be tough to beat.
He's the perfect height too. 5'6" is a light heavy all day.
Yeah.
You try to be 5'6" as a middle, you might run into like a 5'4" little tank.
Yeah. But then at 5'6" as a light heavyweight, if he's anywhere near the top of the weight class, he's going to be the most dense guy up there.
5'6" is like the 212 bangers, some of them.
Yep.
So I like it. And I know, I mean, we were messaging back and forth about Dom. So it was it's a good move, giving Dom the reins right out of a prep.
Yes.
I'm currently
excellent spot.
Eating more food every single week, training my face off. So it, that rebound phase is a good slingshot forward.
Absolutely. What are you weighing, big dog?
And I gain a little bit every weekend, and then by Friday, Saturday, I'm back down. So like 236, 237.
Okay.
But all
Probably
this
still
volume
hard as nails too.
mowing through it.
Yeah, yeah. That is the thing. It almost that and like if you keep some PEDs in and run high volume, it almost feels like you can't eat enough food to keep the body weight going up. I've run into that myself a little bit where, either I up a little bit of training volume on a body part that needs it, or, it's time to incrementally up the doses. And then it just feels like it revs me past where I can add more body weight.
Yeah, so I mean it's still early.
Yeah.
I'm only 4 weeks post show, so
Yeah.
I'm just focused on growing muscle and not the scale. It's my new mantra
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
So
Love
we
it.
did a leg day on Saturday, and it was like 3.5 hours, just a fucking beat down.
Gauntlet. Hell yeah.
It was amazing though. It was like I
You
don't even
getting
think of the word Saturday anymore. It's just leg day.
are
Every
you getting
Saturday.
crazy pumps in the muscle? Like in
Yeah.
your quads? Yeah. Nice.
More so my upper body gets better, like my delts are like painfully pumped.
Really?
Um,
Man, that's so funny, man. I feel like my upper
my
body
chest
pumps are
too,
always
chest, arms,
so
and delts is just exploding.
wow, that's nice. I just feel that it's so funny, man. Like whatever you're predisposed to grow or whatever grows best, like I just never feel as satisfied after doing upper body. And I can do, man, I'm doing high volume at this point for everything up top. And I'll go in and do literally 8 sets for legs. And like I'm crawling out of the gym, like pumped
Yeah.
beyond recognition in my legs. Um,
I mean, I had a pump in my legs, but it was like they were so smashed that it was like I couldn't feel it anymore.
oh, of course. Yeah, no, for sure.
But
There's
we
no
did box
separation,
squats and then we
nothing.
did like a
Mm.
35 rep of safety bar squats, and it was just a beat down.
Big legs incoming, my man.
So
Well,
it's been
all right, guys.
interesting.
That's that's a little Tommy Styles update. That's a Texas Pro review and a new segment, Critique Your Physique. Thanks to the two guys that submitted them. I'd love to get more. I'd love to make this an ongoing segment, but we need submissions to be able to do it.
Yeah,
So
all my clients, you've been put on notice. Send your shit in.
yeah. Yeah, I'll send it around to mine too. We'll see what we're working with. So for Tommy Styles, I'm Joseph Pircher. This was a Thinking Man's podcast. And until next time, guys, we are out.